Hi, I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is a Saturday afternoon update on the two tropical systems that we have in the Atlantic. We have no longer pretty much tropical wave Fred, which is really didn't survive Cuba very well. I'll show you that on the satellite image here in just a moment. And we also have Tropical Storm Grace that's also struggling a little bit, but has winds of 45 miles per hour. So let's kick it off with Tropical Storm, former Tropical Storm, and even former Tropical Depression. We're really referring to Fred now as the remnants of Fred because there's no discernible circulation. Uh, right around in here is where the last known center of Fred was. There are some scattered thunderstorms around. You can see these areas that are blowing up in the Gulf of Mexico, and also some well here to the south. That's could be topography induced from Cuba, the mountains of Cuba. But generally speaking, the center of Fred is right about here, and it is moving to the northwest. And so the National Hurricane Center does think that Fred has a chance for strengthening. As a matter of fact, let me go over to GeoCollaborate here, and I'm going to back out just a little bit. And you can see that there are two storms that are threatening the United States. The first one is Fred, that we're going to talk about here just for a moment. You can see here, this is where the last known location of Fred was. I think they put out an amber alert for the center. Once it gets its act together a little bit more, the Hurricane Center does think it's going to come back to a tropical depression, and that's sometime tomorrow morning, and then regenerate into a tropical storm. And that tropical storm, Fred, it'll still be named Fred, is likely to have winds of 35 and 45 knots. That's about 50 to 54 miles per hour, and then make landfall, notice, a little bit further west than anticipated. That's because the center keeps drifting a little bit further to the west. It's really tough for computer models to pick up on an open wave or something that just doesn't have a closed circulation. So it's going to be a lot of divergence in the models and where Fred is expected to go. But this is the latest thinking of the National Hurricane Center. And notice that it now is forecast to make landfall in Alabama, not Florida, but it's very close to the Florida Panhandle. The reason why Florida is red is because the governor of Florida has issued a state of emergency for select counties. And so GeoCollaborate picks up on that, highlights the state red, and offers that declaration to responding utility trucks as they come in, because they kind of need that paperwork to get into the state and to come across other states when they're doing mutual assistance response. So it looks like Fred is forecast to make landfall sometime Monday afternoon, and then move up into central Alabama as a tropical depression pretty quickly, degenerating. It will be moving somewhat slow, so we're going to have to watch this area for flooding in the beginning part of the week, and we'll keep you updated on that. Now, over to Grace. This is Grace, and it has sort of a central dense overcast here. You can see it moving somewhat. Let me just stop this looping here. It's a little bit confused, but Grace looks a little bit more like it has its act together than Fred does, certainly, with tropical storm force winds. And you can see the Leeward Islands here. I'm going to go over to GeoCollaborate and show you where Grace is located currently. And it does have a tropical storm wind field. That's what this area is in yellow. You can see that. And I'm going to just zoom right into that. So you can see this is the area of tropical storm force winds. So it's not a huge wind field. Grace still has to get its act together as time goes on to be a little bit more organized, to get that wind field to spread out a little bit. And notice that it's primarily on the northern part of the storm. So the forecast for Grace is to affect Antigua and Barbuda, St. John's there, St. Kitts and Nevis, as it moves on through the Leeward Islands. And then the next stop is forecast to be Puerto Rico, sometime around Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening, impacting perhaps Puerto Rico. These dots that you see are real-time earthquakes. GeoCollaborate can pick that up from the USGS very quickly, within a minute of it happening. And so these earthquakes, they're not big. However, there was a major earthquake this morning in Haiti. And because of that, there was tremendous damage. At least 9 people have been declared deceased so far. There's a lot of damage, and unfortunately, we have Grace that's being forecast to move across this island. And so Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we're likely to see mudslides, which will just exacerbate the recovery and response situation in Haiti. So we're going to be watching this very closely. It looks like sometime Monday the storm will impact mostly Sunday during the day, and then as it's departing, there'll be some leftover showers and thunderstorms into Monday. But as you can see, as the storm passes by, it impacts the extreme southern Bahamas and Agua, perhaps some of the Turks and Caicos, and then makes its way towards north of Cuba this time, and the Hurricane Center has it threatening Florida, and that's not until Wednesday. So we have time to watch this and see how Grace develops. The good news is the models are not very bullish on Grace either because of wind shear. The ocean temperatures are warm enough, but it just doesn't look like it's going to get enough atmospheric support to really strengthen very quickly to a hurricane, which is very, very good. It may be a significant rain producer, though, sometime during the day on Thursday in South Florida. We'll be watching it very closely. So that's the way it looks for these two systems. Again, Fred is pretty anemic right now, and there's no real discernible closed circulation, but it is forecast to become a tropical storm again before landfall in the Alabama, Florida border area. So we'll be updating another update tomorrow. The Hurricane Center has another update today at 5, and then tonight at 11, then at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll probably do another update tomorrow afternoon because these systems are just not too threatening right now. And then Grace, right on the heels of Fred, once again threatening Florida. We'll keep you posted. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Thanks for watching this update, and we'll see you again tomorrow.